Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei was son of Karla Kure and became champion of Kengan Movie. Before we start, please go support Jods89 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. The son of the Kengan champion, possessor of the Naiko Takeda Oma style, and the most sadistic assassin of the Kure clan, Karla Kure. Issei Kure is a boy that his clan will send to fight in a secret tournament like the Kengan tournament or the Puegatorio tournament, where Issei will become the king of the beasts. The combination of Kengan ASHURA and killing bites. I hope you enjoy it. Character information. Complete number. Issei Naiko Kure. Nickname. The Savage Demon. Hair. Brown. Eyes. Hazelnut. Father. Takeda Oma. Mother. Karla Old. Appearance. Personality. Calm, quiet, loyal. But when he gets angry or is in combat he is bloodthirsty, cruel, and very violent. Likes. Fighting, eating, and training. Doesn't like. Perverts, cowards and weaklings. Relations. Takeda Oma. Issei's relationship with his father is more of an admiration of Issei for his father because of how strong he is and wants to become as great as him. Karla Kure. Issei's relationship with his mother is very good since his mother is very affectionate with him and loves him very much. Issei Kure. Issei's relationship with the clan patriarch is very good. Issei sees him as his grandfather and loves him. Although Irio and Oma's relationship is bad, Patriarch Kure does not take it out on Issei since he knows that he is not to blame for anything. Rain Kure. Rain trained Issei on more than one occasion, although Rain is not good at controlling himself, Rain wants Issei as a student. Fusui Kure. Issei loves Fusui very much, seeing her as his aunt, while she sees him as a nephew and loves him very much. Hollis Kure. Their relationship is more like that of a teacher and student since he taught Issei the techniques of the Kure clan as well as everything he needs to know to become stronger. Techniques. As a member of the Kure clan, his relatives taught him some of the techniques of his clan, which are the following. Kure clan techniques. Copy. As the name suggests, it allows the user to replicate and imitate an opponent's technique for their own benefit. Pillar Buddha. It's an elbow strike to the head. Hard hit. It is a tackle with the shoulder. Leg thrust. This is a heel kick to the chest. Mountain Crusher. It is a double punch to the head and chest. Lion Bite. This is a technique that can violently twist the necks of multiple people, if not just a single target. This technique is almost invariably lethal in execution. Secret technique of the Kure clan: removal or elimination. It is the ability to consciously remove the brain's limits on an individual's muscular output. As such, while normal humans are naturally unable to access more than 30% of their body's muscular strength, except in times of extreme duress, the Kure were bred to access a greater amount of their latent muscular strength. That said, the percentage they have access to varies from individual to individual. In Issei's case, he can unleash 75%, making him the third strongest male member of the clan. Naiko style techniques. Being trained by his father, Issei learned the Naiko style in its 4 katas. The Naiko style is divided into 4 katas, each of which has its own unique techniques and abilities. Of the 4 katas, Issei knows the following techniques. Adamantine kata. Involves hardening the muscles, thus hardening the body, for both defensive and offensive purposes. Indestructible. Allows the user to defend against powerful blows or attack the opponent with immense power, instantly tightening all of their muscles at the moment of impact. Iron Breaker. This is a striking enhancement technique performed while tensing and straining the muscles in the user's hands or feet. It produces attacks powerful enough to leave a punch imprint on the opponent's body. Flame katas. Focuses on movement and positioning, giving the user incredible speed and agility. Flashfire. This is a movement style that allows the user to flicker like a flame. This technique is capable of confusing the enemy by making them see multiple copies of themselves. Issei was able to combine both the Ironbreaker and the Flashfire, even using a special Naiko style technique called Flashing Steel. This is the fastest attack in the Naiko style. It involves charging at the opponent at high speed and striking with tensed muscles. Momentum and strength interact to deliver a devastating blow. Redirection kata. This kata involves seeing and manipulating the flow of power, using minimal movements to turn an opponent's attacks against you. As a result, this kata requires incredible kinetic vision and delicate physical control. Weeping Willow. Alters the trajectory of the opponent's attack by redirecting its flow of power. In this way, the user can cause the opponent's attacks to miss, as well as knock an opponent off balance, allowing an opening for an attack. Water kata. This is a grip-based kata that emphasizes flexibility and fluidity of movement. Isis Lasso. This is an armbar that involves immobilizing the opponent's arms by holding one arm by the head with the legs and the other arm with the hands. Water Dragon Vein. This is where the user lies on their back with their arms gripping their opponent's neck and knees and their legs pushing up on their opponent's back. This causes unconsciousness within 7 seconds. Combination of the adamantite and water kata. Ironbreaker evolution. This is where the user first throws their opponent to the ground and immediately follows up with a spinning ironbreaker punch. Copy techniques. Issei managed to copy some techniques from some warriors of the Kengan Association because his father knew them, and because of this Issei was able to look at their techniques, and after many years he managed to copy them perfectly. Flash. Technique copied from Thai boxing champion Galang Wongsuit. Issei can fire more than 15 super accurate boxing punches with his bare hands. Due to the speed of his punches, it is extremely difficult to dodge or counter them. Blast core. Technique copied from the wild tiger Takeshi Wakatsuki. This is a powerful blow that consists of compressing all your muscles in a single point in the center of your body and then releasing it. Dragon shot. A technique copied from Mitsudo Kano's Fang. Ejido Issei is capable of delivering powerful blows with almost no distance. Of Issei's techniques, this is the one with the greatest firepower. And that would be all the information of this version of Issei that I believe it is helpful. Apart from this fic is short but good. I hope you enjoy it, and until next time. I also want to say that this story is more focused on fights and not on couples, but there is a little, but there is. The tournament never seen before. The Kure clan is one of the most dangerous clans, if not the most dangerous. It is a village where all the members of the clan live. They are professional assassins and have been all their lives. Since many times the clan continued to strengthen itself due to unions with other warriors to form strong offspring. And with the passage of time each member went from the best to the best. All members of the Kure clan are dangerous and strong. But today we will focus on the youngest member of the clan and a young man who continues to grow stronger. He is nicknamed the Savage Demon, but he also has another name, and that is the Copy Demon. His name is Issei Kure, son of the Kengan Association fighter Takeda Oma, the ASHURA, and the strongest woman in the clan, the succubus Karla Kure. Since he was very young, Issei was trained by the members of the clan because he is a promise with a lot of potential to exploit, and the clan likes that. But well, Issei was in an academy where it was time to leave. Issei retired to his home, crossing through the Kure village, greeting his friends and neighbors. But then, in front of Issei, his teacher Hollis Kure appears. Hollis. Issei, the patriarch wants to see you, he said seriously, to which Issei becomes serious since it must be important. A while later Issei heads to his house, a mansion given to him by the Kure patriarch since Issei's mother Karla is Lord Irio's favorite granddaughter. Then they would arrive at a Japanese-looking house. Whereupon entering Issei could see his grandfather, his mother and a young woman never seen before but very beautiful. Irio Kure, the patriarch of the Kure clan, a very powerful demon with a strong and cold personality, but behind that is a man who loves his grandson very much. Irio. Sit down, Issei. We've been waiting for you for something very important, the man said, happy to see his grandson. Karla Kure, known as the succubus, when she was young and in high school, was the strongest woman in the clan and the most feared, but now she was a good mother who cares about her son. Karla. Son, what's happening is that this woman wants to propose something to us, she said happily to her firstborn. Issei looks at a very beautiful girl with expensive clothes and an aura of elegance. You must be Issei Kure, right? Let me introduce myself. My name is Mitsukato Yako, but just call me Yako, said the girl with manners. Issei, nice to meet you Miss Yako. Yako? Issei Kure, have you heard of the Kengan tournament or the Purgatory tournament? Issei. Yes, in fact my father and uncle fought in them. Yako. Fine, but what if I told you that there is a hidden tournament known as Killing Bites? Issei. Killing Bites said confused. Yako. Killing Bites are similar to Kengan tournaments, but they debuted long before them. This is because the Zaibatsu companies proposed the tournament to see who would be the leader of the same, recruiting warriors to fight on their side. Issei. I understand, he said, deducing where this was going. Yako. Samurai, sumo wrestlers, martial artists, all of them fought in the Killing Bites tournament for a long time. But we reached the present time where beings known as teleanthropes were created, he said, confusing Issei. Issei. Teleanthropodo said confused. Yako. A teleanthropod or animal humans are experienced humans who can become human-animal hybrids and thereby have their abilities and techniques, as well as an increase in their physical abilities. Issei. Incredible, he said, surprised to see how far the human was able to go with power. Note. Daddy Adam would be disappointed in us now. Yako. Issei, I'm here to propose that you participate with a team in the next Killing Bites. Issei. But why couldn't I go? My uncle Rayan, or my father Oma, or even my uncle Hollis. Irio. Issei, I proposed you because it might awaken even more potential and thus make you stronger. Karla. Yes, it is a son and that way you will be better. Besides, it will be a great honor for the clan. Issei. Well, if I see it that way, it would be good, but I'm not a teleanthropod, so I won't be able to participate. Yako. Don't worry about that. I already spoke with the higher-ups and they'll allow you to fight to be a Kure. In fact, people are very interested in seeing a Kure fight in the tournament. Issei. Okay, yes, I accept, but I'll do it alone or with someone. Yako. You will be on a team with 2 other teleanthropods and someone who will give them directions. Irio. In fact, I'll give you a house where you and your team will train. Karla. You make me very proud, my little boy. I still remember when I changed your diaper, she said, remembering when Issei was a baby. Issei. Mom, said Issei, covering himself in embarrassment. Irio. Or something else, you'll have to listen to what the lady says since the tournament is different from the one you know. Issei. Okay. Yako. I'll explain it to you. The tournament is on an island where the teams will be guided by their chief strategist and thus fight with the participants of that area. Issei. Something like chess, he said thoughtfully. Yako. Exactly, she said seriously. Issei. Okay, and when will I go with my team? Yako. In fact, they will come here so they can train and plan ideas. Issei. I agree, by the way, grandfather, what does my father think about the idea? Irio. Don't talk to me about that bum, he said angrily, releasing an aura of death. Karla. Honey, your father and uncle were invited to a tournament where they will fight on the side of the Kengan Association against the Puegatorio Association. Issei. Yavio. Yako. But don't worry, the Kure clan will be able to watch the tournament as well as the Zaibatsu executives. Issei. I understand, it is decided, I accept. A while later Issei was training, throwing multiple punches at a punching bag at the training ground until Yako arrived along with about 3 boys. The first was a tall thin-bodied boy with brown eyes and black hair combed back to form a tuft on top of his head. His usual attire is a long-sleeved blue shirt that opens while he wears another t-shirt underneath with jeans and sneakers. The second was a rather fat but muscular boy with dark hair and a flat hairstyle. And the last one was a girl with white hair, brown eyes, and an athletic curvy body. She was quite pretty. Yako. Well Issei, they will be your team. The first is the girl named Yazaki Hitomi, he said, introducing the aforementioned. Yazaki. Nice to meet you, she said disinterestedly. Yako. Next is Ichinazu Kakajima, he said, introducing the chubby boy. Akajima. Nice to meet you, he said respectfully. Yako. And the last one is this boy who will give the strategies, his name is Namoto, Yaya said, introducing the thin boy. Namoto. Nice to meet you, he said fearfully. Yako. They are your team. Issei. A pleasure, he said kindly. Nice to meet you, Namoto and Akajima said, but Hitomi didn't say anything. Yako. Okay, they both pointed Akajima and Hitomi. They are teleanthropods and will fight you in the tournament area. Issei. Good, and who of the 2 is stronger? He said, interested in a sparring match. Hitomi takes a step forward while smiling proudly. Izaki. That would be it, I would say with pride, but I really don't see much of a problem with you, you're just a human, he said without interest. Issei. Oh then how about a fight to see how strong you are? Izaki. Fine, if you want to lose, I accept, she said confidently. On the other side of the area, high-ranking members of the Kure clan arrived, wanting to see the true potential of a teleanthropod to see if it could interest them for future generations. Yako. Okay then if you want to fight then fight, but in a training way okay without killing. Both. Okay they said determined to show what they are and vary. But the Kure members. Irio. This will be interesting, said the patriarch, interested in seeing a fight between the 2. Paulus. Grandpa, do you think that girl will beat Issei? Irio. I don't know since I don't know her at all, but I'll just say that Issei will win, but I don't know if it will be easy or difficult, he said, analyzing the next fight. Karla didn't say anything, she just saw this seriously since she is very overprotective of Issei and doesn't allow other girls to get close to him. The fight will begin. Training. Issei and Hitomi stood into each other's faces while. On a balcony, the Kure patriarch is seen along with Karla and Hollis, accompanying Yako, Akajimi and Namoto. Issei. I hope you're ready because I'll go all out, he said, taking off his shirt, showing off his muscular body, making Hitomi blush. Hitomi. It's okay, she said while a purple aura covered her body while claws, tail and ears of an animal with black fur. Hitomi. I hope you're ready to lose. Issei was surprised, but then he smiles and says. Issei. Judging by the type of legs and claws I can deduce that you are a honey badger or am I wrong? Hitomi. I see you know a lot, but well, that won't help you, she said in a combat pose. Issei also gets into a combat pose. Referee. Well, the fight begins now. He said, to which Hitomi launches herself at Issei, launching a cut with her claws that Issei dodges with ease. Hitomi. Not bad, she said, throwing punches again, which Issei dodged while remaining in his combat stance. Issei. She's fast but her attacks are predictable, he said in his mind while dodging each attack. Hitomi kept throwing punches that Issei dodged, making her very angry, but then she dodged a punch from Issei. Issei. I think it's my turn, said Issei, throwing punches and kicks that Hitomi dodged with difficulty. Hitomi. What the hell, how is he so fast? She said in her mind while using her instincts to dodge each blow. Issei increases the speed of his blows with the flame kata, making his attacks faster. In an instant, Hitomi jumps, putting herself a great distance away from Issei, and then she sees how Issei begins to move while creating residual images of himself, leaving her surprised. Hitomi was ready for any move as she sharpened her claws, but in that, Issei moves at great speed directly against her, hitting her using the Nico-style adamantite kata on his fist, hitting her in the chest, making her retreat. Issei. Flashing steel, said with his fist on Hitomi's chest. Hitomi steps back while spitting saliva and recovering from the blow. In the stands. Yako. That boy is very fast, she said, interested in Issei's movements. Irio. That's Issei's fighting style, the Nico style. Yako. Nico style like that of the wrestler Takeda Oma. Karla. Yes, Issei is my son along with my Oma, he said, happily remembering that she was his wife, making the Kure patriarch upset when he remembered it. Yako. Trained in a variety of martial arts as well as killing techniques, he is undoubtedly someone very interesting, he said, staring at Issei's movements. In the fight. Issei launched multiple blows that Hitomi dodged with difficulty while waiting for the moment to use a deadly blow, but in that. Issei. Receive this, he said with a boxing stance. Issei. Flash, said, throwing multiple very strong boxing jabs. Hitomi wanted to avoid them, but since there were so many she couldn't and received several, causing the aforementioned to be badly injured. Issei. You'd better give up. You won't beat me if you keep relying on your instincts. Hitomi. You won't tell me what to do, she said, preparing her death blow and launching it at Issei. Hitomi. Slash, said, throwing a powerful slash with her claws directly at Issei. Hitomi. Well, it seems that you already lost, she said, confidently turning to Issei, but she is surprised because it is simple. Issei. Thank goodness she used the indestructible skin of the adamantite kata, said Issei, as his muscles became very hard like armor, resisting Hitomi's blow, leaving only a few wounds on his torso. In the stance. Yako. Interesting, he created armor with his muscles to block a serious wound, leaving it as just a normal wound, or am I wrong? Hollis. Yes, Issei uses that as a defense or as a mode of attack. In the fight. Issei. My turn, he said in his usual combat pose, launching himself at Hitomi. He condenses his muscles into his fist to make it a lethal blow. Issei. Receive this, Ironbreaker said, punching him directly in the face, causing the aforementioned to fall to the ground. Issei looks at how Hitomi is on the ground while still in her fighting stance, but in that she would dodge another cut from Hitomi's claws when the aforementioned gets up very annoyed. Hitomi. You should have knocked me out. Now I'll finish this. She said, throwing herself at Issei. In the stance. Irio. Interesting how she will survive those blows, he said, staring at the fight. Akijima. If you allow me to speak, Mr. Kure, said Akijima with respect. Irio. Speak clearly, he said, seeing the aforementioned. Akijima. That's because Hitomi has the fur of the honey badger, which is one of the most resistant of all in the animal kingdom, which served as armor to withstand Issei's blow. Irio. Interesting, said, watching the fight. In the fight. Issei dodged each blow while he realized that the more he fought, Hitomi's instincts increased, and in this way she remained conscious for wanting to continue fighting, and because of that, Issei decided to end this fight with the next move. Hitomi throws a punch, but Issei uses the water kata this time. Issei. Pisces bow water kata, he said, immobilizing her arm, and thus, Hitomi is unable to throw another blow. Hitomi, seeing this, uses her other arm to throw another claw, but Issei quickly lets go and, using a combination of the adamantite kata and the water kata, knocks Hitomi to the ground. Issei. This fight is over, Ironbreaker Revolution said, hitting her in the face, leaving her unconscious. Referee. It's over, Issei Kure wins, he said, to which Issei leaves the arena as the winner, while some doctors take Hitomi to heal her. In the stands. Namoto. Incredible, that boy is very strong. He defeated Hitomi as if it were nothing, and she defeated a lion teleanthrope, one of the strongest. He said, shocked. Akijima. Issei is definitely someone very strong. Yako. It's a shame it ended. I wanted to continue seeing what he was capable of, but well, we'll see that in the tournament, she said as she left. A while later. Issei was with the boys and if Hitomi was already cured, they arrived at the house they would use to train. Nemoto. Go Issei, your family does have money, he said, looking at the house. Issei. Well, yes, he said with disinterest as they entered the house. At that point, each one already had a room ready and each one arrived to their room to rest. At night. Issei was on the balcony of his room watching the stars waiting for the Killing Bites tournament. Until Hitomi arrives to keep him company. Hitomi. You can't sleep or what did you say seeing Issei? Issei. I didn't just want to see the stars for a while. Hitomi. Issei, I have a question for you. Issei. Which? Hitomi. How does it feel to have a normal life with a loving mother and friends? I never had that. She said sadly, remembering her life and how she stole to survive. Issei. You know my life is not perfect, I had a hell of a training to become this strong, apart from the fact that it's normal to see that I live in a village full of assassins. Hitomi. True, he said, agreeing with her. Issei. Well, tell me, don't you have a father or something? Hitomi. The only father figure I have is a man who freed me so I could live in peace. Well, now I have Nemoto and Nakajima, who would be like my friends now. Issei. Yes, that's right. Well, it would be better if you rest since we will train tomorrow. Hitomi. Yes, it's true. Issei. One last thing, how do you know them? Hitomi. Well, I met Nemoto when he defended me from some boys who wanted to abuse me and Nakajima when he saved me from a surprise attack by another teleanthropod. Issei. Wow, it's obvious that there are dangers. Well, rest, Hitomi. Hitomi. Rest, Issei said, leaving the room, leaving the brown-haired boy alone with his thoughts. Issei. I wonder what kind of dangers I will encounter in that tournament. If Hitomi was difficult to defeat, the others will be like that. Well, I'd better stop thinking about that and go to sleep because I need to train to become stronger. He said as he lay down on his bed and fell deeply asleep. What kind of challenges will Issei and company have? That will be for the next chapter. By the way, the animes I'm using are the characters of the teleanthropods from the anime Killing Bites, the members of the Kure clan and the techniques of the Kengan ASHURA anime. And finally Issei from High School DxD. And well that would be all and until next time. Alive together and a surprise attack. It's been several weeks since the new team for the next Killing Bites had been formed. Issei started training with Akajima and Hitomi Nemoto. For his part, he started reading different books about animals as well as some old plays to be able to make some strategies for his team. But apart from that, they went out with friends, like going to the park to eat ice cream, etc. Then one day. Issei was training with Hitomi until a visitor arrives at the house. Nice to meet you, said a very cute girl with pink and white hair, wearing a typical Japanese school outfit and brown eyes. Issei. Si dime daiho Issei Elachika. My name is Inaba Ui and I'm looking for Nemoto, do you know him? Said the one now identified as Ui. Issei. If I know him, why do you need him? Ui. I'm his girlfriend, said the girl, surprising the group. A while later. In the living room of the house, Issei is seen with Akajima, Hitomi Ui and Nemoto in the living room talking about their things. Issei. And since when have you known each other? Ui. It's been a long time since high school we didn't get back together, said the girl happily. Nemoto. Sorry for not telling you, but I live with them now, he said, pointing at the group. Ui. And why do they live together? Nemoto. This is for an activity that we will do that is very important, said Mentiender. Ui. I see. Nemoto. Hey, do you want to go out this afternoon? Ui. That's fine by me, what do you think at 5? Nemoto. For me. Issei. Oh love, they look so cute together, said Issei, making them both blush. Note. I know that in Killing Bite Nemoto and Ui are not a couple because they barely know each other, but I wanted to do it that way because it's my story and because I can. A few hours later. Nemoto and Ui started their date by going to eat sweets and walk around the park, everything very normal. But what they didn't know was that Hitomi was following them because she simply. Since Nemoto decided to help participate in the Killing Bites, many assassins will want to kill him to prevent him from participating in the tournament and thus eliminate an obstacle from the middle. But well, the day would go by normally and the date would be a success for Nemoto and by the time the group would be arriving at Issei's house. At that moment a teleanthropod appears in front of the couple. Wow, a cute couple in love, I will really enjoy killing them, said the girl showing her animal form, being that of a reptile. Nemoto. A theory-anthropod said in surprise. Ui. Nemoto, how do you know about theory-anthropods? Nemoto. You know about them too, he said, surprised. Ui. In fact I am one, he said, making Nomoto extremely surprised by that. Akemi. Silence, the girl spoke, now you two will die together, she said while shooting a kind of red laser from her eye that Nomoto receives directly. Akemi. My name is Kishimoto Akemi. I am a horned lizard therianthrope and I myself will kill them here and now, she said as she continued attacking with her bloodshot. Note. Horned lizards are able to use their blood as a ranged attack by firing it like a laser. This is poisonous and is very hot for other species. End of note. Nomoto received each laser of blood until Ui decided to transform into her therianthrope form, being that of a rabbit. Note. It's really hard for me to take pictures of this series because they are all seriously very hexualized. End of note. Ui launches himself against Akemi where she fires her bloodshot several times, but in that Ui begins to dig hiding under the ground, making Akemi look from here to there where she was. Until Ui would come out to the ground giving him a very powerful kick to the chin, causing Akemi to fall to the ground unconscious from the kick. Ui approaches Nomoto seeing that he was hurt before she said or did anything. Spikes pierce Nomoto's back, revealing another therianthrope, this time a porcupine. It's incredible that you were defeated by a kick, but well, now it's my turn, said the porcupine girl. My name is Arashina Ryuko, and I will kill you both, she said, throwing several needles that Nomoto would receive directly. Ui, very worried, grabs Nomoto and takes him away while Arashina chases them. Arashina. Stupid rabbit, you won't escape, she said, throwing several needles that Ui barely dodged. In an instant she jumps and then starts throwing several needles like a rain of them. Arashina. Roddy Storm said, launching his attack that Ui received several needles falling to the floor wounded. Arashina. It's her end, she said, about to pierce through Ui, but then Akajima appears, charging at her, sending her flying. Akajima. They're fine, he said, approaching where Ui was. Ui. I do, but Nomoto is in very bad shape, he said, while the aforementioned was on the floor, very injured. Arashina. Damn, who do you think you are? She said as she stood up, about to throw some needles at him, but that's it. Hitomi appears, giving her a very strong slash with her claws, causing the aforementioned to fall to the ground, very injured. Issei also arrives, and the three of them take Nomoto and Ui to the house to treat their wounds. At home. Nomoto was on the couch, very injured, but his wounds were treated and he was out of danger. She had several bandages on her body without any danger, but she was sad about what happened to her boyfriend. On the other hand, Issei was talking to his mother. Karla. Tell me, honey, is your friend okay? Karla said worriedly. Issei. Yes, mom, but he's very hurt. Those from Zaibatsu sent assassins to kill him. If it weren't for Hitomi or Akajima, he'd be dead already. Karla. Well, son, I hope your friend is okay, she said, hanging up the call. Issei puts away his phone and goes to the living room to help Nomoto. Issei. Those bastards will pay for it, said Issei, annoyed to see something as dirty as attacking someone weak. Issei just clenches his fists as he tells himself that he's going to take care of them. Elsewhere, the Kure clan. Karla arrives very upset at Irios. Irio. Karla, what's wrong with you? Why are you like this? Karla. Grandpa, you won't believe it. Issei Nomoto's friend was attacked by those companies. Irio. What did he say, annoyed? Karla. Yes, those companies want to get rid of Issei and his friends before the tournament, she said angrily. Irio. I see, he said annoyed as he released his death aura, causing the ground beneath him to begin to destroy. Irio. Hollis. Hollis. Tell me, Grandpa. Irio. Tell me, would you like to finish off one of those bastards? He said annoyed. Hollis just smiles. Hollis. It will be an honor, Grandpa, he said with a murderous look, releasing his death aura. Several days later. Nomoto had already recovered, but he still had several wounds, and that's why he still used his bandages. Ui for his part decided to help the team, more specifically Nomoto, with his injuries. Issei. Hitomi, how long until the tournament? Hitomi. A week later, she said, seeing Issei very seriously. Issei. It's not for nothing, I'll just finish off those cowardly bastards, said Issei as he clenches his fists, releasing his aura of death. Without a doubt, thanks to Issei, the team was very well trained and more than ready to face any challenge. But the real question is. That will be enough. In the tournament there will be several very strong therianthropes, more than Hitomi. Issei was eagerly awaiting that day. He will undoubtedly have fun like never before fighting against strong people because it excited him. People look at the and I'm killing bites, it's short, but I'll try to make it longer for this fic. But I remind you and I say it right now that this fic is short due to lack of content. And well, here I will put another character from another anime to give more variation to the situation, and that character is Henry at part anime Katsukami. Yes, I know it's a little known anime, but I recommend it, and this specific character is much stronger than the Killing Bites characters. Well, in my opinion. But well, this will be Issei's rival in this fic, and I will give him some more powers to make it more interesting. And well, that would be all, and until next time. The party before the massacre. Several days have passed, and today was the day in which the Killing Bites tournament was inaugurated, where all participants, whether fighters or support people, were taken to a party before being taken to the game area. At the party, Issei was with Akijima, Hitomi, Nemoto, and Ui, who went to support Nemoto. Meanwhile, Issei was in the center of the party eating a plate of food while being watched by everyone. Since Issei expelled an aura of pure power, and it was an aura of death itself. MAN1. I wonder what theory anthropod it is. MAN2. He must be very strong to have that aura. WOMAN1. Hey, don't you think it's cute? WOMAN2. Yes, he is very handsome, they both said, blushing, seeing Issei. Issei for his part was in the center while watching some participants of the same. Issei. I can feel it, there are very strong people, I can feel it, but there are three that caught my attention, he said, seeing a boy with long brown hair, a muscular tan body with an aura of power. This boy's name is Nakanishi Taiga. Being accompanied by an orange-haired girl with pigtails being his sister named Nakanishi Arusa. Issei turns his gaze seeing a tall, burly man wearing a hood that covered his body. This man's name is Kido. And finally he turns around seeing a white-haired man with a muscular body wearing an elegant white suit like an officer. This man's name is Hank. Issei. That's the strongest of all, said Issei in his mind, excited to fight. Issei leaves that and decides to enjoy the party until. I was Ui's cry. Issei and Nemoto, upon hearing it, go to the area where the scream occurred, where they see Ui trying to defend herself from someone who wanted to abuse her. Issei hits him, causing him to retreat. Issei. You think you're cursed, trying to abuse a girl against her will. The guy Issei hit had a small body with black hair and a surprisingly crazy face. It's not obvious she's a rabbit, rabbits are only used for hexual objects, she said while lustfully looking at the one who was hiding behind Issei. Issei. Listen to me, damn it, I'll kill you myself. You'll be the first to fall, said Issei seriously. Well, it would be better if I left, but listen to me carefully. When I beat you, I'll stay with that stupid bunny, he said as he left the area. I only see it with hatred. In another area. You see all the tournament executives getting ready to watch the tournament until. Irio. Good afternoon, gentlemen, said the Kure patriarch arriving at the area, accompanied by several members of the clan such as Karla, Hollis, Fusui and the most dangerous Rain. Everyone is surprised to see the Kure clan at that meeting, which was the most dangerous clan there is. Irio. You may wonder what I'm doing here, and well, it's simple. I'm here to watch my grandson fight, and I also want this to be even, he said, releasing his aura, scaring everyone. BXECUTIVE1. Yes, but you said your grandson. BXECUTIVE2. Your grandson is a theory anthropod too. Karla. Don't compare my son to such things. My son is much stronger than everyone at that stupid party. Irio. A girl named Yako invited my grandson to participate. Besides, my grandson can fight. Everyone is surprised as an older man gets upset about it. Irio. Well, what do you think if we watch this calmly? He said as he sat with the other clan members waiting for the tournament to start. A while later. All the fighters are taken to an island where the Killing Bites battlefield will take place. They all had a necklace where the support members told them where they should go. Presenter. Let the Killing Bites begin. The rules are simple, they are fights to the death, the winner is the last one standing, each fighter has a collar where their support members will tell them where to go, if they disobey those rules the collar will explode killing them. One last rule is that when there are few members left they can move freely and fight. Another thing, we have a special guest who is not a theory anthrop but a special human being, one of the most powerful descendants of the Kure clan. Everyone hearing that is surprised by what they were doing here. And now the tournament starts. Nemoto was with Ui in a room with several screens where the tournament island could be seen. As if that were not enough, the room was specialized so that no other participant could hear anything about the strategies of other teams. Nemoto. Hitomi, move to the nearest mountain from your position. Issei. Move to the nearest coast from you. Akijima. Move to the farthest part of the jungle. The three would nod and head to the given locations. But Hitomi, she was at the highest point of the mountain, seeing the entire island from her position. But then a theory anthropod appears in front of her. It was a bear theory anthropod. Bear. Wow, look what we have here. If she's a pretty girl, when I'm done with you, I'll grape you like you have no idea. He said lustfully, looking at Hitomi. Hitomi says nothing and transforms into her rattle form. At that, Hitomi releases a powerful claw, causing the bear to fall from a presenter. Incredible, the rattle just had a hit with the bear. The tournament started very well. But Issei he was in the Nomoto position until. Wow, just look at the idiot who didn't let me make that bunny mine, said the boy who wanted to abuse you. Issei. I see that I don't have to look for you because you personally came to your death, said Issei with a psychopathic smile, making the boy scared. My name is Inuma Den, said the boy as he begins to transform, turning into a snake. Den. We theory anthropod reptiles are constantly evolving. This kid is lost, he said as he launched himself at Issei, but he just smiled, disappearing from his sight. To then appear in front of him launching one of his most lethal techniques. Issei. Lion bite said while biting his neck, leaving a grotesque scene of how he had his neck broken while a lot of blood came out. Then turns around, but Issei hits him, making him retreat and then uses Mountain Breaker, hitting him in the head and chest, knocking him down. Issei doesn't let him rest and steps on him and then grabs him by the neck, starting to hit him non-stop. Then. His weight don't kill me, he said with fear. Issei. I'll only tell you once. My mother Karla and my aunt Fusui taught me that women must be respected. And you wanted to abuse my friend, she said while grabbing him by the mouth and then breaking him in half, creating a horrific scene. Everyone was horrified except the Kure clan who saw this with a smile, but more so Karla and Fusui when they saw that their son-nephew was taught well. Presenter. Issei Kure killed the brutal snake in a brutal way, he said with fear towards the aforementioned. Issei was bathed in the blood of his enemy, while he only looked at his body with disgust and withdrew from the fighting area. Nomoto, who was in shock along with Ui, recovered and then spoke. Nomoto. Issei, move to the jungle area 3 meters to your right. There you will find a cabin. Move there. Issei solo obey YC retire la zona data. Elsewhere with Akijima. This one was in his theory anthropod form fighting with a gorilla theory anthropod boy. Gorilla. What's going on? Can't you beat me or not? Fatty said, throwing a punch that Akijima dodges to launch himself, charging him, causing him to retreat due to the force exerted. Akijima decided to activate his animal form, becoming that of a hippopotamus. Akijima launches himself at him, giving him another blow and pushing him back. But the gorilla doesn't stay behind, hitting him several times with his fists, making him retreat. But before the gorilla could do anything, he would start spitting a lot of blood and then fall to the ground split in half. Why did this happen? It was thanks to the same brown-haired boy with a tan body from the party. Taiga. Wow, look who we have here, it's just a chubby guy, said Taiga in her teleanthropod form, being that of a tiger. Well, get ready because you're next, he said seriously, looking at Akijima with his claws full of blood. The tournament and the blood is spilled. The tournament began, and both Issei and Hitomi managed to defeat their first opponents. While Akijima was fighting, one of the strongest appeared, being this Taiga. Akijima was scared, but he was still willing to fight Taiga. Taiga. What's wrong, fatty? Are you scared? Taiga said confidently. Akijima. Nobody calls me chubby, he said angrily, throwing himself at Taiga. Akijima charges at him with his shoulder, making him retreat, but Taiga recovers by hitting him with her fist directly in the stomach. Akijima throws a headbutt that Taiga dodges to give him a powerful uppercut to the chin, sending him flying. Taiga. I see that you are weak, I will kill you immediately, he said, launching himself at him, but then a theory anthropod crocodile appears and bites Taiga's arm. He exerts a lot of pressure on his bite, causing Taiga to cry out in pain. But Akijima takes advantage and with a quick movement pushes Taiga and the crocodile. Akijima hits Taiga, but Taiga recovers by giving him a series of blows with a right hook, sending him flying into a tree. Taiga, for his part, sees the crocodile and carries out his best attack. Using the strength of his legs, he gets behind the crocodile. He quickly turns around to receive a tremendous kick to his chest, starting to cough blood, but Taiga prepares her claws and using a lot of strength in her legs, she goes at great speed, slashing him with her 5 claws, making the crocodile fall to the ground half dead. Taiga. Claw of destruction said as the crocodile fell behind him, starting to spit blood. Taiga just smiles as he leaves the area, leaving Akijima wounded and the crocodile half dead. Akijima wakes up very hurt but then receives a message from Nomoto. Nomoto. Akijima, move from that position. If you stay there, they'll kill you. He said worriedly. Akijima, for his part, would simply listen and withdraw from the area. With Hitomi. She was in a cabin and in front of her comes her next opponent, a woman who has short dark blue hair and blue eyes. Ash, you must be the one who defeated the bear. Well, let me introduce myself. I'm Keat and I'm your opponent now, said the woman, changing into her animal form, being a gecko. Note. It is very ugly. End of note XD. Hitomi says nothing and launches herself at her opponent, trying to cut her with her claws, but Ki dodges it by sticking her hands to the cabin. Then she uses the cabin as support and launches herself at Hitomi, hitting her, making her retreat. But Hitomi quickly hits her with her fist and then gives her a roundhouse kick, making her retreat. Hitomi takes advantage and throws a combo of punches and a kick to his chest. But Ki, determined to win, grabs her leg and begins to spin with Hitomi and in a quick movement sends Hitomi against the cabin, causing her to go through its wall. Ki just smiles as she enters the cabin to finish it off, but Hitomi is no longer there. She starts looking for her but. Hitomi. Behind you, idiot, she said, hitting him with a punch, making the woman fall defeated. Hitomi just smiles but receives a message from Nemoto. Nemoto. Hitomi, move to the nearby forest and use the trees as a shield, he said, to which the aforementioned obeys, going in that direction. But Issei. This one was in the location given by Nemoto while looking around in a serious manner. Until he dodges a girl's punch. Issei turns around seeing the same girl who accompanied Taiga in her animal form being a leopard. Issei. So you want to fight, said Issei in a combat pose. Arusa. Yes, although I wouldn't want to fight against a boy as handsome as you, she said, looking at Issei with a lascivious face. In the high command monitoring room. An aura of death is felt, making all the men scared. They all turn around and see how Karla released that aura. Karla. That girl dares to say those things about my baby, she said while looking like a demon. All the men except the Kure were trembling from the aura. Returning to the island. Issei was in a combat position when the girl launched herself at him, giving him a blow that Issei dodged. The witch Issei throws a direct blow to her face that she barely dodges. Issei does not stop, starting to throw blows that the girl barely dodges. But in that Issei uses his adamantite kata making his fists harder. Issei. Flash plus Ironbreaker, said Issei, launching a shower of blows with the Ironbreaker, causing the girl to receive each blow and begin to cough blood. Issei hits her with an elbow with a Buddha killer and finishes her off with a leg thurs, giving her a heel kick straight to the chest, making the girl step back trying to catch her breath. She, very annoyed, gets on all fours and launches herself at Issei with her speed increased, starting to throw punches, kicks and claws that Issei dodged with difficulty. Issei was determined to end this fight, so he uses the Weeping Willow making the girl lose her balance, and Issei uses the Water Dragon Vein suffocating the girl making her unconscious due to the loss of air. Issei gets up leaving the girl unconscious on the floor and tells her. Issei. You're lucky I didn't kill girls, said Issei, leaving the area. With Akijima. This one was very hurt as he walked with his hands on his wounds to stop the bleeding, but in that. Hank appears. Akijima, upon seeing him, gets into a fighting stance, ready to defeat him, but Hank does nothing. He just walks towards him and then changes into his therianthropic form, a very muscular white wolf. Note. This is awesome. End of note. Akijima was ready, but Hank was in front of him in just one move, surprising Akijima. He was going to be something but Hank with his claws pierces Akijima's chest, causing the aforementioned to start spitting blood like crazy and then fall to the floor dead. In the support room. Nemoto and Ui watch this in shock while unconsciously crying. Nemoto talks to Issei and Hitomi. Nemoto. Issei, Hitomi said, falling, confusing both. Nemoto. Akijima is dead, he said sadly, causing both of them to open their eyes in surprise. Issei just clenches his fists very annoyed. At that moment the presenter's voice begins to be heard. Presenter. How incredible, ladies and gentlemen, there are only 5 fighters left standing and those are. Izaki Hitomi. Issei Kure. Kido Takeshi. Nakanishi Taiga. Hank Henriette. Those 5 remain standing, but it looks like the best is yet to begin, he said very excitedly through the megaphone. Issei looked at this seriously, and since he no longer had to obey orders, he ran towards the center of the island. Hitomi also does the same thing, going to the center. In the center you could see only silence until someone arrived, and that was Kido, who had his animal tail out. He walked calmly to the center until he reached Taiga, this being the first. Taiga. So you want to fight, he said seriously while clenching his fists ready to fight. Kido. Listen to me, I am a very calm person, but if what you want is to die, I will grant you that, he said while transforming into a pangoli. I didn't even know about the existence of this animal. Taiga puts on a smile while watching Kido. But they weren't the only ones, since Hitomi also arrived. Hitomi. Wow, I see you're having a party here. What do you think if I join you? But Issei, he was running towards the center until he jumped back, dodging a blow from Hank. Hank looked seriously at Issei. Issei looked him up and down while smiling. Issei. I can feel it, you're someone strong, I know. Hank just smiles as he gets into a fighting stance. Hank. I feel it too. I will definitely enjoy this fight. Issei gets into a fighting stance too. Issei. Me too, he said with a smile. This tournament entered a point of sudden death. Hitomi vs Taiga vs Kido. The fight between the three strongest contestants begins. Hitomi was with her claws ready, while Taiga looked at both of them in a serious way, and Kido, for his part, clenched his fists, deciding to be the first to attack. Kido uses his tail, launching a whip-like blow that Taiga and Hitomi dodge. Taiga, for her part, throws a slash that Kido blocks with his armor and then hits him, sending him flying. For her part, Hitomi launches herself at him, giving him several cuts that Kido resists. Kido. You're fast, but even so, you can't hurt me, he said while hitting Hitomi with a hammer, burying her against the floor. Kido uses his tail and starts hitting her repeatedly, making her bleed. Taiga gets up and hits him, making him retreat, but Kido, very annoyed, hits him, making him retreat. Kido throws a blow with his tail giving him a strong attack making Taiga retreat but still standing. In an instant, Taiga gives him an uppercut to the chin, making him retreat. Kido was very upset, something was going to happen, but Hitomi cuts him on the chest. But Kido, very annoyed, stops Hitomi's various cuts and then hits her with his tail, sending her flying. For his part, Kido jumps, being above Hitomi, and then clenches his fist, giving her a blow that sends Hitomi to the ground, forming a small crater, leaving her very injured. Taiga. Hey, you said, looking at Kido seriously, she was going to be my victim and you took her away from me, he said angrily, launching himself against him, giving him several cuts with his claws. However, Kido's tough skin resists each cut as if he doesn't force anything. Taiga. Damn, his skin is as hard as armor, he said as he continued attacking him. Kido, very annoyed, throws a blow with his tail that Taiga dodges by jumping backwards. Kido. You two are fast and strong, but you can't hurt me, he said seriously. Taiga, very annoyed, launches himself at him with the intention of piercing him with his claw, but Kido protects himself like an armadillo, creating a sphere with his body with an opening. Taiga, seeing her, throws her fist into that opening, but… Kido. You fell, he said, still spinning like a sphere and thereby tearing off Taiga's arm. Taiga, seeing this, quickly backs away while trying to formulate a strategy, but then Kido pierces Taiga's body with his tail, leaving him half dead. Taiga falls to the ground while bleeding out. But then Hitomi starts to get up. Kido. You're not dead yet, he said seriously as he looked at her, but he realized that her appearance was different. Kido. But what did he say when he saw her, surprised? Hitomi's skin was now tanned while her eyes were red and her fur was white with grey tones instead of black. Kido. What the hell happened to you? Hitomi doesn't answer and throws herself at Kido. In the audience room everyone looks confused until one of the crowd speaks. I know you have doubts, but I will answer them, said a man with glasses. Sekiryuutei. What do you mean Shido? Shido? It's simple, Hitomi wasn't modified in any way, she was just born that way, in fact she was one of the original theory anthropods, she said, surprising everyone. Sekiryuutei. How do you know that? Shido. Remember that I am her legal guardian and when she was a child I adopted her and trained her to have a normal life. Irio. I see, he said while watching the fight. In the fight. Hitomi is seen launching herself at Kido, trying to cut him with her claws, but Kido uses her forearm as a shield, defending himself from her cut. Hitomi, seeing this, quickly runs away from Kido, bothering the latter who launches himself at her, throwing several blows with his tail, which Hitomi dodges. Then Hitomi gives him a very strong cut on the neck, making him step back. Kido. Damn, he said angrily as he released his aura of power. In an instant, Kido's body begins to undergo another transformation as his power increases, revealing his new form. Kido. Now you're dead, he said angrily. Hitomi. Do you think you'll beat me like that? Don't make me laugh, she said confidently, but Kido, with a quick movement of his tail, cuts off one of her arms. Ah was Hitomi's cry when she lost her arm. Hitomi. My arm I scream again. Kido. Now I'll kill you, he said while hitting her, sending her to the floor, while with his tail he begins to hit her without stopping. Until the tip of its tail pierces his back. Hitomi. Was another brutal scream. Hitomi, with her last strength, gets up and grabs her severed arm. Kido. What are you going to do now? Tell me. Hitomi says nothing as she puts her severed arm in her mouth and then jumps above Kido. Kido looks at this seriously while he throws a blow with his tail, but Hitomi dodges it and with great force. He uses his only hand and pierces Kido's mouth and then rips out his stomach, finally killing him. Kido can't take it anymore and falls to the floor dead. For her part, Hitomi remains standing, but then falls to the floor unconscious due to her injuries and is eliminated. Presenter. How incredible. The rattle managed to kill the pangolin, but he fell unconscious, and since the tiger was also on the floor, he was eliminated, leaving only 2 participants standing. Irio. Now my esteemed knights will see a member of my clan with great potential in action, he said with a smile. Issei. Issei, upon hearing that Hank was left, talks to Nemoto to find out what happened. Issei. Nemoto, tell me what happened to Hitomi. Nemoto. Hitomi lost an arm in her fight, but even though she's still alive, she's just unconscious. Issei just sighs in relief and cuts off communication with his friend. Issei. Okay Hank, what do you think if we start this fight? Hank. It would be an honor for me, he said, clenching his fists. Both of them throw themselves at each other, throwing a punch that collides with each other, creating a very strong air current. Both do not stop, starting to throw multiple punches that collide with each other, creating multiple air currents that send everything in their path flying. Both of them, seeing this, step back while a big smile appears on their faces. Issei. I knew it, you're good. Hank. I say the same, but tell me you're not a theory anthropod, how will you beat me? He said confidently. The witch Issei smiles as the veins in his body begin to show in his muscles while a purple aura comes out of him. Everyone who saw this was confused and some trembled because of it. At that, Issei's body takes on a purple color with his veins noticeable with a strong blue color, while Issei's eyes begin to turn black with grey pupils that little by little become red like blood. Issei activated the removal, the secret technique of his clan. Issei. Secret technique of the Kure clan. Removal. Everyone seeing this trembled with fear while the Kure clan was attentive. Karla. Come on Issei, prove that you are my son and Oma's, she said encouraging her son. Hank. I see, it shows that you are strong, said Hank while releasing a powerful howl, releasing all his power, becoming more muscular. Issei and Hank looked at each other with crazy smiles. Both. This will be the best fight of my life, they both said as they launched themselves at each other, deciding to start their fight once and for all. Issei vs Hank. The final fight to determine the winner of the killing bites begins. Hank launches himself at Issei, cutting him with his claws, which Issei dodges with difficulty. Hank moves through the trees to throw another blow at Issei, but the brown-haired man dodges again. Issei. He's fast, said Issei in a combat stance and then launched himself at Hank. Issei was in a boxing position and then launched his Flash plus Ironbreaker, delivering a shower of blows with the adamantite kata that Hank managed to block but ended up with wounds on his arms. Hank, very annoyed, gets up and launches himself against Issei, attacking him with great force, but Issei, seeing this, launches himself against him using hard slam, colliding with Hank, causing both to retreat. Hank launches himself against Issei, but he uses the flame kata, the flash fire, starting to create multiple illusions of him, causing Hank to miss his attack. Hank. But what did he say when he saw the shadows? At that Issei launches himself, hitting him, combining the flame and adamantite kata with the flashing steel, making Hank step back with a strong blow to his chest. Issei. Wait, there's more, he said, launching a heel kick with a leg thrust, making Hank retreat again, but Issei was determined to win, and using his Buddha killer, he hit him on the chin and then used his mountain breaker, making Hank retreat, very hurt. Issei uses the water kata knocking Hank to the ground, while Issei gives him an Ironbreaker revolution to the face, making Hank fall to the ground. Issei doesn't stop and hits him with multiple Ironbreakers in the face, causing a crater to form beneath them. Issei. Come on, I know that's not enough, said Issei while looking at him seriously. Hank gets up very upset while his body released a lot of power. Hank. It's incredible that someone like you would take me to this extreme, he said as Hank's body became bigger and more muscular, while his body expels a lot of power. Hank released all his power, becoming more dangerous. Issei saw this surprised, but then got excited as he launched himself at Hank. The aforementioned, for his part, gives a hammer blow, making Issei dodge it with difficulty, but he would receive another one, this being a kick that sends him flying. Hank. Tell me now what will you do, he said seriously, watching Issei get up. The chestnut tree comes up with an idea, but it was very dangerous. Hank launches himself at Issei, but he uses his flash fire, creating several illusions of him that approach where Hank sees this and prepares a blow, but Issei uses his crying saws, making Hank lose his balance and fall to the ground. Issei quickly gets up to then be on top of Hank who throws a blow, but Issei uses his Pisces lasso wrapping it around his arm and then propels himself where Hank's face and gives him an Ironbreaker in the face, making Hank fall to the ground again. Issei managed to use one of the secret techniques of the Nico style, combining the other styles, Demonsbane. In the audience room. Everyone watched this in shock, seeing how Issei managed to humiliate Hank again, and there they realized that becoming an enemy of the Kure clan was a very bad idea, since they could perfectly see that it was very dangerous. For their part, those of the Kure clan smile seeing that Issei grew very well and they realized his skills are very good. If he continued like this, he would surpass all the strong ones of the clan. But the one who was happiest was Karla, without a doubt, since she married Oma, she created a very strong being who could be the strongest on Earth in the future. Returning to the fight. Issei was ready to finish this, but Hank gets back up while with his strength he destroys several trees and decides to use them. Hank grabs one and using centrifugal force throws a crushing blow that Issei receives. But Hank hits him again, sending him flying into a tree and splitting it in half in the process. Hank jumps up to land on Issei, hitting him with a blow that sends Issei flying several meters. Issei prepares his best blow by condensing his muscles in his left hand at one point, preparing one of his most powerful techniques, but also with his right hand he does the same, preparing another attack. Issei had them ready while Hank approached him, giving him another blow, but this time Issei dodged it, getting closer, with Hank throwing a blow with his right hand. Issei received this dragon shot said throwing a very powerful blow, causing a strong current of air to come out from behind Hank's body, making Hank step back, but Issei takes advantage and gives him his second technique the blast core, causing the wolf to receive that brutal blow and then be sent flying while on his chest, the mark of Issei's fist could be seen with smoke coming out of it. Hank was losing consciousness, seeing for the last time the man who defeated him and then falling defeated. Nobody said anything, they saw how a normal boy defeated several theory anthropods, the strongest ones being humiliated by that boy. Without a doubt, the words left their mouths and then they worried since they lost their warriors thanks to that boy. Presenter. Surprise cry. Issei Kure is the winner, he said, while on a screen where everyone was watching the tournament, Issei was seen returning to normal without having the removal. They lost this, for their part, the Kure clan only saw this happily while they were observed by everyone. Irio. Well, it seems that my grandson won this fairly, don't you believe it? He said looking at the executives who were in shock without wanting to say anything. Executive 1. Excuse me sir, but we can't allow this. Your grandson shouldn't be here, he said angrily. Irio didn't say anything, this behavior was expected, but that's it. Irio. Ray and Karla Hollis could take care of it, he said, while those mentioned would just nod. At that Rain Kure launches himself against the guards and executives along with Karla and Hollis, starting to kill them all. Hollis used his clan's killing techniques, eliminating several Rain with his brute force, destroying them physically, breaking their necks and bones, while Karla murdered them with a knife she had, causing the vast majority to fall. In a few seconds everyone died except the presenter and Yako who arrived at the room. Yako? Thank you very much. Now that they are gone, I will take over, giving a different result to the theory anthropes so they can have a peaceful life. Irio. I know you will, he said as he and the rest of his clan withdrew from the area, leaving Yako alone. Some time later. Issei returned to Kure village and let the others live their normal lives. Namoto and Ui returned to their normal lives away from the tournaments. For her part, Hitomi went to live with her father Shido so that the latter could give her a normal life, a life far from all the tournaments, being an ordinary student. Several days have passed and Issei was called by his grandfather to an important meeting. At the meeting, Issei was seen with Karla Fusui Irio and Hollis in a room to talk about something very serious. Issei. Tell me, Grandpa, what do you need? Irio. You see, Issei, you demonstrated the power of the clan in that tournament and you undoubtedly managed to stand out from the rest, which makes me very happy to see that your training is improving. Irio. And that's why we decided to train you better so that you can exploit that potential and that way you can go to the Kengan tournament or the Puegatorio as a warrior. Issei. Seriously, that makes me very happy, he said excitedly. Irio. You deserve it, Issei, but promise that you will continue to get stronger. Issei. Yes, I will, he said decisively. Now Issei managed to win his first tournament and with it open more doors in the future to continue strengthening. And thus reach higher in the realm of a warrior. Now if this story ends I warned you it was short due to the lack of content in the anime, but well this is another story for prosperity. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching, if you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day, bye.